2 months later with the MSI Katana 15 gaming laptop. Let's see if this thing is actually on job. Yes, what's good, people? It's man like Jamo. We're out here with the MSI Katana 15 gaming laptop. Now, just as a quick disclaimer, this laptop is on loan from MSI. They sent it down to me just so I can review the thing, and after the review and all the content is done, it goes straight back to MSI, and MSI don't get to see this video before it's released. So sit back, let's get into the specs. Now, in terms of specs, we're talking an i7 13th gen thing going on there, 16 gigabytes of RAM in this model, 1 terabyte of SSD in this model, and we've got Wi-Fi 6 with NVIDIA RTX 4050. So not the latest Wi-Fi 6E or Wi-Fi 7, but you know, we got enough to get the gaming going. Now, in terms of design, I guess it's all right. It's pretty much okay. It's about what I'd expect from a regular lower end MSI laptop. I do like the grills that they got on the back, rear, and the bottom here. Those look kind of cool. Could have been cooler if they were a different color to the rest of the body. Obviously, you got the little MSI dragon there. Apart from that, yeah, it's pretty much standard procedure laptop going on. I think the inside looks way better, fam, especially with that RGB keyboard going on there. You got a 16:9" screen. The bezels are kind of thick. Can't lie, the bezels are kind of thick, fam. It's not giving state of the art, definitely giving a more budget laptop compared to like other laptops that I've reviewed from MSI. But yo, if it works, it works. So let's see what the performance is like on the game thing. Can also use this time to say the keyboard and the mouse tracking pad look and feel really good, by the way. Like, obviously, me, I prefer an external mouse when I'm on a laptop, especially if I'm going to start gaming. But just for like moving windows around and doing normal mouse trackpad stuff, that feels really nice and responsive. It's a nice, good size as well. Keyboard feels really good, and it's got a nice little number pad squished in the corner here. So that's always a plus if you're doing any kind of productivity work and stuff like that, where you need your little number pad in a small form factor. Now, moving on to the screen, we got a 1080p screen, 15 inches, IPS panel at 144 Hertz. Not really anything super crazy going on, but with that RTX 4050, being that it's a 2K monster, we should definitely get some good frame rates on this 1080p panel. 16:9 aspect ratio as well. Now, moving on to ports, on the left side, we've got a USB-A 3.2 Gen 2 and a regular USB-A 2.0 port. Moving on to the right side, we got a 3.5mm combination headphone and microphone jack, another USB-A 3.2 Gen 2. We got a USB-C 3.2 Gen 2, and we got the HDMI thing, which I'm not sure whether that's HDMI 2.1 or not. And we've also got an Ethernet port there. No memory card slot though. Oh, just before I go into gaming, let me quickly show you the MSI Center software, basically software that lets you save battery or turn up the performance of the laptop so that you're getting better frame rates and better performance when you're playing games. So obviously you can go to this user scenario section, and you've got options like putting the computer into extreme performance mode for more frames per second, better performance. Or if you're out and about all day and you want to make the battery stretch as long as possible, you can put it into super battery mode. Do you get it? You also got a mux switch here, a GPU switcher. So if you're proper gonna be on this laptop and having it plugged in and you don't care about battery, you can switch it to dedicated graphics mode so that it's only gonna use the NVIDIA RTX 4050 to do all the workloads, and it's basically gonna just give you all the performance that this thing has got, which is exactly what you're going to need when you're playing those top-end AAA games that have just been released. For example, Marvel Rivals. We're doing up 1200p, we're doing up max graphical settings. I think I've got all the NVIDIA DLSS magic going on here. We're getting over 100 frames per second, more than enough frames to play this thing competitively, even with Ghost of Tsushima, a game that is so cinematic, you only really need to play it at 30 frames per second, but playing this game at above 60 frames per second, above 70 frames per second, just gives a whole new level of detail and smoothness during the gameplay. Now, moving on from this, we've got some Horizon Forbidden West, fam. This game is so graphically intense, it just looks sick. Even if the game is standing still, it feels like you can take a picture of this game and use it as a screensaver, fam. That's how sick the game looks, and it runs ever so smooth. You can see the frame rate up there in the top left, above 60, well above 60. Light work. Now, with Grid Auto Sport, even though it's a very well optimized game, even able to be played on a Steam Deck, it's locked at 60 frames per second. So no matter what resolution you got, 60 is the highest you can get, but it still looks nice and smooth, and it's more than enough for a good old-fashioned racing game. And last but not least, say we have to bring out the Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, one of the wickedest looking games on PS5, and especially on this PC, it does very well to kick out those frames per second, and the quality of the game is quality in. You get me? Alright, so obviously this thing can play games, but how long can it play games for when it's off charge? Well, the battery for me has lasted a maximum of 3 hours if I'm playing a 2D game, yeah? Or if I'm web browsing, I can get about 4.5 hours out of it. But if I'm playing a proper game, like you just saw me playing, like one of those PlayStation ports, I'm getting 2 hours maximum if I lower the settings a little piece. If I don't lower the settings, it might be a little bit worse than that. But it's about average in terms of what you'd expect for a good old little gaming laptop anyway. I think at the end of the day, people, this laptop doesn't have any special bells and whistles. It's your bog standard gaming laptop. As I said yeah before, you're getting your 1080p screen, you're getting your 144 hertz refresh rate, you got your RTX 4050 in there alongside an i7 13th gen. That's pretty much enough to play any game you want to throw at this as of 2024, end of 2024 kind of thing. My only issues, not really issues, but stuff that you would get in more expensive laptops, like perhaps an SD card reader if you're a content creator. Maybe you want to save your gameplay and put it into I don't know, another computer or something like that. Got no SD card slot there, so you have to use a SD card dongle. Other stuff like having a per key RGB, so you can't change the colors of these keys. Well, I've not found a way to change the colors. Please excuse me if you can, but I actually can't change the colors of these keys. I think they're just that pattern, which does look nice, but you know, obviously you can't have the colors exactly how you want it to. Apart from that, it's just nitpicks really. For what you pay for is exactly what you get, and that's more than I can ask for in these days, where you pay for something and you get something completely less. But anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and make sure you like and follow for more content like this.